y'all doing? This is Cody Flowers with the YMCA. I am the Youth Program Director here at the Y. We are fortunate enough to have our certified YMCA art teacher, Miss Hanners, who teaches our Young in Art class. She is on hand and she's at home actually, getting ready to take some videos for you guys so you guys can see some easy art projects you could do with the supplies that may be laying around your house. So without further ado, we're going to transition this video to her and her humble abode.
Hey everyone, Miss Hanners here, going to do a little fun demonstration with either an introduction to some of you, that would be primary colors, or a review for some of you would be primary colors, and then taking those primary colors and mixing them to make secondary colors. So I'm going to start off by writing primary here. Again, you can do this on any type of piece of paper. You could do it on a paper towel. I'm just doing it here in my sketchbook at home. So I'm going to write down the 3 colors: red, yellow, blue. And a couple of things I have this paintbrush, just kind of a random paintbrush I had here at home. I happen to have a little water cup, but you could just use a regular cup. I happen to have a paint tray, but again, you can kind of just put it on paper towel or another piece of paper. By chance, I have these little kind of paint sets that I used to make a craft with my cousin, a little 3-year-old cousin. And the paints I'm going to have, because I actually don't have anything bigger than this here at my house, so I'm using what I have, this little Crayola set. And by chance, it has the primary colors that I flipped up for you, and in between are the secondary colors. Although it's nice to have colors already made at your fingertips, you know, we're going to start with the primary colors, and we're not going to use these, we're going to make our own. Something to keep in mind, if you don't have a paintbrush at home too, you could always use, you know, maybe a little piece of a paper towel, or you could use maybe like a shoelace. There's kind of, you know, just some things you can kind of try to find around the house to use. You could even use your finger if you want. So I'm going to take my paintbrush and I'm going to dip it into the paint. So I'm just going to kind of get my little red blob here. And that's just showing me the red blob of paint. And then I'm rinsing that out. And I'm going to go ahead and put my yellow down. You could do this so many different ways. This is kind of just a basic way for you to kind of review or practice. Some paints might show up differently. I mean, if you don't have, you know, the exact blue that you want, you can use other blues that just might turn out a little bit different. And also sometimes different brands, they show up different ways. So one kind of thing too I want to remind as you're painting is it's always good to rinse out your paintbrush before you, or whatever you have, before you switch to another color, because it can actually mess up your paint colors and then you kind of run into some troubles. So anyway, I've got my 3 basic primary colors here: red, yellow, and blue. Now I'm going to start off with these 2 first, and so I'm going to be mixing my red with my yellow. Over here I've got my little paint tray, so I'm actually going to take some red and I'm going to put that in there, and then gonna probably be more rinsing here than I want, but that's okay. And then I'm going to take some yellow and put it in the other piece here. And I personally think it works best when you take the lighter color first. And so if I'm taking some of the yellow, and then I'm going to slowly add in a little bit of red to kind of see what it does here. I might get kind of lucky. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and take some more yellow just so I have a little bit more paint. I think that's a pretty nice orange. We could add a little bit more red to it. And you know, you can kind of see, you know, it might get a little too red. And so I might go back and swipe a little bit more yellow here. I think I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and write in my orange, because red with yellow makes orange. All right, so now I've got my little blob here of orange. This paint definitely is a little bit more transparent So I'm having to kind of give it an extra little coat. All right, so there's my orange. Okay, now my paintbrush might be a little bit more dirty than I want just because I'm trying to go a little faster for you here. So now, since I did these two, I'm actually going to go ahead and do these two. So I just did the first two, now I'm going to do these two. And I'm going to be mixing some yellow again. So I'm going to put that in a separate piece on my tray here. And be careful, you know, you don't have to use a ton of paint. I'm just trying to get what I need here. Okay, and then it's really not going to take too much blue. That's why I say to start with the darker first. Okay, so now I'm going to be taking my yellow here. So I'm going to take quite a bit of it, move this along a little faster, and then I'm going to add a little bit of blue to it. And you can slowly see what color it's starting to turn. So a little bit more. And it's pretty light green. It should be a little bit more dark green than this, but again, it could be the type of paint that I'm using. I don't want to add too much more because then I'm going to get it looking a little bit too much on the blue side. So that's pretty good green. So obviously the color that those make is green. So I'm going to go ahead and put my little blob there. Okay, I'll rinse out my paintbrush real quickly here. And now I'm going to take my two outside colors. So I'm going to start with red first. The good thing is I still have some red in here in the tray, but I think I might add a little bit more to that. And then I need some blue, obviously, because I'm taking the two outside colors, which I might go ahead and put in a separate little circle here. Now again, I'm going to start with this red first, because I think it's always important to start with the lighter color first. So I'm going to swipe out some red. I mean, if you want to just go right in there, you could do that too. Okay, and then, oh, I guess I was going to put it here for you to see. I can move that over. All right, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of blue to it. Getting a nice little violet purple there. I think that's pretty good. So obviously, you can write down purple, violet. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and put my blob on there from my paint tray. I love mixing colors. It's great that you can start with the basics and kind of go from there. So, like I said, we have the red and yellow to make the orange. We have the yellow and blue to make the green. And then we did these two, red and blue, to make the purple. So there you kind of have a little mini color chart. Later on I'll probably show how to do a full-blown color wheel, but this is just starting with your basics here. Again, taking your primary colors, red, yellow, blue, and then mixing them a couple at a time to make our secondary colors. So if you wanted to, you could go ahead and write secondary down here also. And just so I could kind of show you here, I'm trying to be a little careful with my paint. So there's my little paint blobs. So hopefully you enjoyed that little quick mini lesson on primary colors turning into secondary colors. Thanks for watching.